And welcome back, everyone. We are again here with Mikael, and we do have a nice Tuomas mirror
Mhm.
in the feature match area.
Tuomas mirror indeed. So we have now Tuomas Myllykoski who is playing Nadu. So at least band colors. We're not sure if there is some more, but it will. We will find out in a moment. And then on the other side of the table is another Tuomas Ronkainen who is playing Czech control.
Yes, so gonna be an exciting match, hopefully.
Yep. Without further ado, let's jump to the table and see how the players are doing. So those are some colorful playmats, if I would
Yes,
say.
that is for sure.
So on the right hand side there is actually that Ylämaa 3 official playmat from the big Turku event this year.
Yeah, and well, the other playmat coming from Ikalinen. So there is at least some cities in both playmats.
Yep. All the artists have put their best effort into these productions.
Yes, for sure.
Actually, the
Oh,
the live pad does not seem to be very visible, so I'll quickly go to fix that. I'll once again leave you for a moment, Rob.
yes, we will survive that one. And it is interesting that there is a combo deck revolving around Nadu in the Highlander format as well. With only being one copy of Nadu and obviously one copy of other combo pieces, but there is a lot of tutors like Greens and Zenith and Eladamri's Call that you can play to get the Nadu in play. Obviously there being other cards or multiple different cards that combo with the Nadu deck or Nadu itself, like Shuko and Nomad Encore, and there is the 3-mana version of Nomad as well, which I don't quite remember the name of. But here we are going into the action. Both players drawing their sevens.
And Mikael is also back to the booth now. Let's also correct the result. It's not 1-0 for Tuomas Myllykoski yet. It is just the first game at the moment.
And Ragavan being the turn 1 play for Tuomas or for Ronkainen. It's probably the best 1-mana play in the deck, I would imagine.
Yep, you will always need to feel a bit lucky when you find your best one drop out of the 100 cards, so
Yes.
not too bad of a start for Tuomas.
But a blocker found for Myllykoski.
And there's another good observation there. Yeah, so it is round number 2. Let's fix it here. Thank you, Atte.
Ragavan.
All right, that seems a very, very fine thing to be for Myllykoski.
Yeah, it's always a sweat when you're facing the Ragavan with a blocker.
Yep.
Just hoping with fingers crossed that no removal, please. And you're just so glad when you get the trade-off.
Yep. Ragavan seems to be the definition of snowball of this game, but now we don't get to see the avalanche.
Yes, and the island being fetched. Maybe to play around Blood Moon in case in case Myllykoski does not know that there is many colors in the Ronkainen deck.
That is Coiling Oracle coming down, so
Blast from the past.
yep.
Shuko in hand at least, so
And even though Blast from the past Coiling Oracle has been a staple on the stream already for today, we saw it on the round 1 also, so you can play many kind of interesting cards in a European Highlander, and Coiling Oracle is still one of those staples. There is another staple in multi-format staple as well, so the new survey lands have.
yeah, certainly taken this format by storm as well.
Yep.
And there is a Shuko in Myllykoski's hand, so if he were to get access to this famous bird Nadu, he already has the other combo piece in hand. Obviously not having that much of a board yet.
Yeah. And some quick facts about Highlander as a format. Of course, there is a ban list in this as well. The power 9, of course, is there, but also some other too powerful cards from the format have also been banned, and Nadu is one of those that has got some calls for ban, but at least the council has not yet been willing to follow these wishes. Oh yeah, that is true. Time Twister is legal in format, so not all the power 9 are gone there.
Another basic hand for Myllykoski certainly being wasteland proof there. Shuko coming down on the board.
So tell Roope shortly how the Shuko functions here in the Nadu deck.
So the Shuko is an equipment with an equip cost of 0, and with Nadu being having the ability that whenever a creature is targeted by a spell or ability, you get to effectively draw a card. If it's a land, you put it into play, and if it's a spell, you get to put it in the hand. Then you just spam your equipment on your creatures, with there being also some creatures that make more creatures on the land drops, like Springheart Nantuko, and then you get to often draw your entire deck, and well, how you win is often up to the player, but common one in these Highlander decks being, I believe, is Final of Destination, being kind of doing 2 roles with being a same as Green Sun Senate and a tutor for Nadu, while also being a win condition that when you cast it for X is equals 10, you get a big overrun effect. And yeah, Nadu is being really the multi-format all-star as well, playing Legacy and obviously getting banned in Modern.
Yeah.
Really funny how
and its base stat line is already pretty impressive. 3 mana, 3/4 flyer is a decent rate, but yet someone still decided to put a whole lot of abilities in addition to it. So
yes, but
tells about also the increasing power level of the game.
Yes, which is something that happens for sure. Whether it's positive or negative is probably up to anyone's own opinion. But if not sure what Myllykoski is gonna do here. the 2 creatures in play. Ronkainen being quite tame with just a preordain and a tap land on the previous turn. And that is a Gaia's Cradle.
Yep. So mana is there for Tuomas to work with, but does he have the cards?
Let's see. Obviously a tutor for Nadu won't be strong. I'm not sure how the Nadu deck operates when the Nadu gets, for example, countered or destroyed.
I could only imagine that even though the deck is called Nadu, it's not a full combo deck on Tuomas' side, so it's probably a more value version of the deck. I could be wrong, of course, as well, because the different kind of tutor effects, which one of them seems to be in Myllykoski's hands. There is a Chord of Calling. Those tutors can make it like work so that you are playing full combo, but I could only imagine that there are some value engines as well. And there is Chord of Calling in the end of Tuomas Ronkainen's end step.
Yes, obviously being cast for 3.
Yep.
3 here is a potential Nadu threat here. But that is gonna get mana drained.
Yep. Which will possibly set up a huge turn for Tuomas Ronkainen also in his next turn, but we'll see. So basically Chord of Calling in the end step can also be just a bait from Myllykoski, and he may have another way to search for Nadu on his own turn, but we'll see how this goes. Does he have the resources to find one?
So draw for turn for Tuomas Myllykoski. See if they have a good follow-up. Try a Darbor. Probably not the card you're looking for in this spot. And a Haywire might to follow up. The small beats are real. See, none of them being quite really powerful yet, but this one looks to be
Eldritch Evolution. Well, that is also a way to find Nadu. And now we'll see if Ronkainen still has another counter to work with.
So there is 1 green mana floating for Myllykoski.
Yep. Gaia's Cradle producing for 4 mana before casting Eldritch Evolution, so 1 floating from there. And still 1 card in hand, so...
Ronkainen casting something for 3 mana. That's gonna be a loose focus on the replicate cost.
Yep, so basically asking to pay 4 more mana.
Yes.
Which Myllykoski happens to have.
And now we're off to see if the bird is the word here.
Yep. Because now he has
4 creatures.
Yeah, Myllykoski has 4 creatures, including Nadu on the field, so this might already be a huge turn.
Yes.
In the terms of drawing,
yes,
virtually drawing cards.
Drawing at least 8 cards, assuming Ronkainen doesn't have a free spell to answer that one.
Yep.
There are some cards Ronkainen could reasonably have, like Force of Despair, but...
Yeah, but now it seems that Myllykoski's deck starts to leave for its name.
Yes, Shuko being targeted and well, no answer for...
And now we also get to see more about Myllykoski's deck, because as a reminder, once again, we don't have the deck lists of the players, so we can only assume what they are having. So now we are actually also seeing if Myllykoski's deck is a really combo based, or is it just like a value engine?
Yes. Interesting to see Giver of Runes and Wall of Roots being drawn. Couple of lands. As as well. So Springheart Nantuko found for Myllykoski, which is one of the ways that the deck goes infinite,
Yep.
being just finite so far.
That is Nomad's Encore, if I'm not correct.
Yes.
The synergy we happened to see yesterday as well.
Yes.
Legacy version, yeah, opting to play Nomad's Encore and Nadu.
Obviously being better than the Shuko in the sense that you can also activate the Nomads on the opposing player's turn.
Yeah, so you get to have 2 cycles of cards or activations.
Yes, and that is gonna be a lot of cards. And we'll see if there is like some free spells that Myllykoski can find with all the draws. Could also just hit 2 lands to play the Nantuko here after casting the Nomads.
What was it called? Springheart Nantuko?
Yes.
Yep. Let's have a look on that as well so we can see how it actually goes infinite.
Again, one of the
Oh, there's Neoform as well, so this really seems to be a all-in
Yes.
Nadu.
Not many value cards, I'm sure. There is a Stoneforge Mystic, which obviously tutors the Shuko as well, doubling up on the, but also being just a reasonable value card here. So what is happening right now? I believe there's...
Players are now counting how many activations there have been, I think.
Yeah.
And when they are all done, Myllykoski will pass, visit in the discard step here.
Discarding Deathrite Shaman.
Yep.
So now probably in the upkeep.
We are getting 10 more activations with the Nomads Encore.
Yeah. Did allow the draw step to go off. Which is fine, you're not really in a hurry.
Yeah, and even though Ronkainen would now find a mass removal, there are still a heck of cards in Tuomas' hand. Even though now when we see the deck being a full, like more combo-oriented version, there are not actually that many good cards on their own on Myllykoski's side, so he would still have a struggle to win this game with them, but...
Pyrogoyf being used here.
Triggers Nadu and finds Endurance.
Which is a way to get Nadu back in the deck.
Yeah, if it would get exiled from the graveyard, there is a way to get it back.
Yeah, and even if the Nadu gets killed now, it can...
return to the deck and then tutored, yeah.
Yeah, with the Neoform in hand.
Yep.
It's a cool way to go off.
Yeah, and now he goes with the Nomads Encore, probably drawing another heck a lot of cards.
Yes.
Crop rotation seems to be there.
Hitting fetch land. Oh, now with the fetch land and the crop rotation, we could be...
Ooh, Sedgery Step, for example, yeah, that would be nice.
Let's see. Going for the Temple Garden, taking 2 damage. gonna cast the crop rotation.
Yep.
Let's see if it resolves. Well, it does.
Yeah, Ronkainen being in F6 mode here.
Let's see if the steps notes.
Caracas. Well,
Caracas to bounce the-
that's virtually the same. Well, not the same, but
Okay, and
yeah. And now Tuomas, Ronkainen has seen enough. So Nadu will do Nadu things and take the first game for Myllykoski.
yeah, certainly not doing nada. But yeah, no sideboard text to be had today, as there is no sideboard in the Highlander format. Is the companion a thing in
No,
Highlander?
they are not.
Yes, that does make sense.
Yep. Sideboard would be a cool addition to any format, including Highlander, but 115 cards would probably be already a bit too much.
Yeah, it's not easy to fit the current decks in the deck box. So space is certainly an issue, and with the rounds already being really long, having a 60-minute timer, having the sideboard won't just add to the time problem.
Yep. We already, even though we have 60-minute round time here, we were 15 minutes overtime in the round one, so still having the same issues and that as any other format.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had your plenty of times. You were back in the day in the
Careful now.
plus time zone.
I can't do nothing for myself that for liking to play control decks.
Yes, that is for sure.
Is that a good of an excuse?
I'll accept it this time. But let's see.
Yeah, let's jump back to the table.
Probably players taking their time, obviously the 100 cards not being the easiest one to shuffle. But we do have presenting of decks soon enough. Obviously the tournament being regular it's nice that you don't have to fill the 100 singleton deck list. Me being certainly known for having some errors in those decks back in the day. But it is gonna be a mulligan for Tuomas Ronkainen. Myllykoski probably keeping that hand, as we see no shuffling.
Yeah, only hiding his starting 7 to somewhere.
Yes.
So we didn't get a lot about Ronkainen's deck. So he told me himself the deck being a Czech control, which is like a non-white 4-color deck, but about being how much creature heavy or stuff we didn't get much to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but pretty reactive spells here were what he happened to play.
Pyrogoyf being the only threat seen from Ronkainen's side. We have to assume that the Pyrogoyf's best friend Barrowgoyf is probably in there as well.
And Baleful Strix, well, yeah, that is a natural addition in the deck. The bin is a bit on the top corner right now, but we had a glimpse about what was played. A quick wasteland for Myllykoski, so early mana denial plan here, but both players are still able to have their land drops.
This is gonna be a turn 1 Shuko.
Turn 2. Wasteland was turn
I
1.
see. Yes, that is correct. Obviously, the Shuko being strong, giving the creatures one more power to beat with.
In addition to being a combo piece, it is a 6 sword,
Yes.
giving a huge advantage to any creature holding it.
Being Stormfort Mystic being played. See,
And since Shuko is already on the battlefield, we'll now see what else Myllykoski has decided to sleeve in.
well, it
Or do-
probably
or
is
do we?
not gonna resolve if I had to make my guess here.
Yeah. So double fetch. Going some kind of a counterspell variant probably. Or even the actual counterspell.
Yes, let's see. There are a lot of good counterspell options these days. Things like even change the equation and lose focus being played in the game 1. But it is just gonna be the traditional
Yep.
good and old from all the way back.
Namesake card of the all of the same variants.
But let's see how Ronkainen will follow up.
Something like Oko would be nice drop now, but
There is a
Ren and 6 seems to be there, yeah.
But it is gonna be a shock land untapped and just passing of the turn.
Yeah, so Ronkainen is playing really conservatively here.
Yes.
Someone would have definitely dropped Ren and 6 there already. And there is a card
It's birthing pod.
Birthing Pod.
Yes.
All right. Haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah.
When I last played Highlander, it was still banned in there, so let's have a look for Birthing Pod.
But birthing pod not being very powerful against the opposition agent, which
Well, definitely not, yeah.
is
And yeah, of course, there was a reason not to play Ren and 6 last turn, since you had a end of turn play as well.
yes, opposition agent of being a very powerful card in the format with a lot of search effects. Prevent, which the card allows Ronkainen to search in place of Myllykoski. So if Myllykoski were to cast the Zenith in his hand, then Ronkainen would be able to choose the target, and then the card gets exiled.
Yeah, and when he finds Nadu, it stays exiled for the rest of the game, so that's
Yeah.
pretty much done for that plan. And now Ronkainen actually seems to be putting up a real pressure once he have also the notorious old vanilla Tarmogoyf.
Yes, Tarmogoyf being the dice does not help much to this camera, but I believe it's at least a 3-4, but probably a 4-5 if I had to make my. Yeah, there is a land artifact creature and an instant, I believe.
Yep.
But now we will see what Myllykoski is gonna do.
Yeah, Ursa's Saga is also pretty bad with opposition agents, so
Yes.
it's actually doing a lot there. And yeah, Fetch Land was also played by Myllykoski, so denying all the good options he used to have.
Yes. And I believe you're allowed to play the card from exile that the opposition agent gets. So
Yeah, you are.
Ursa Saga probably gonna get something. And Shuko being in play, I'm not sure what the other targets are. Probably there could be a Shadow Spear as the mono-red decks are quite popular.
Yeah, and Shadow Spear is like all around one of the best options to find with Urza's Saga. Of course, in Nadu deck, Shuko is probably more likely to be found, but
So gonna be a construct.
and it's a big one. It will actually trade to opposition agent.
Yes. And we'll see if there's a removal spell with the attacks in place, and there is a dismember.
Yeah, Ronkainen was prepared for this. I believe that this will actually put Myllykoski in a very tight spot, because he don't seem to have a clean answer to opposition agent, and
Yeah, obviously with so many.
and it blanks like 2.5 cards from his hand, so it's very
Oh,
nice.
That's an abhorrent Oculus. Probably Cardi.
I have not seen
You
it.
have not seen yet.
Abhorrent Oculus. Actually, I have seen this.
Oh, yes, 3 mana 5/5. Okay, well, there was no 6 cards in the bin, I believe, and that was taken back. Yes, there was.
Aha,
Could
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
Play the spell's additional cost, but it
Yeah.
is gonna be a scoop from Myllykoski as the Urza's Saga trigger won't go off, allowing Ronkainen to see the whole deck if that goes through.
Yeah. And that also means that we will be seeing game 3 in this round 2 action, which is always nice.
Yes, and the singleton formats being interesting, that there's some haymakers and very matchup dependent cards like the opposition agent obviously being fine against most decks running the fetch lands, but against like this kind of creature combo that relies on tutors, it's really devastating to play against.
Yeah. Yeah, Ronkainen would be very happy to find it in the game 3 as well, but I can imagine that he has other tricks in his sleeve as well, and now they really paid off.
Yes, and we'll see if there's more haymakers to come from either side for game 3.
At least we haven't seen any non-games today.
Yeah,
For now, these have all been very enjoyable to watch.
yeah. Which deck do you think is favored in the matchup?
I am tempted to say that control should be favored, because creature combos always rely on having the right tutors and right creatures, and control decks still tend to have the necessary answers removal and stuff to there. So I would imagine that Czech control should be a little ahead.
That does make sense, for sure. But obviously, the Nadu being kind of an exception in the sense that it generates so much value the
And so quickly,
moment it can come down. It's hard to deal with. Obviously, Myllykoski being on the play here. I do think it's probably a pretty close matchup if I had to make my guess.
But about the Nadu, still I think you'll need to prioritize to deal with it as soon and as cleanly as possible. So you can't like drop your defenses at any point, but you must be like ready to answer it on instant speed, and
Yes.
preferably like before it hits the battlefield in some sort of way.
And Gitaxian Probe being played to help the casters out. See the hand, there was Fiend Artisan, Chord of Calling, a Delighted Halfling, and a fetch land being the Scalding Tarn.
Yep. So the tools are there once again.
Yes, and a Deathrite Shaman to generate some mana advantage for Ronkainen. So, very nice card in the controlling decks. And for the question in chat, what format is this? This is European Highlander, a singleton format with most of the powerful cards being allowed to play with some exceptions in the ban list. 100 card singleton.
Yep. Basically, the power level is very close to Legacy, but of course, when you're playing singleton, you have more variance in the games and matches, and you don't get to have as persistent, for example, combo decks and stuff. But since you are allowed to play all kind of a different tutor effects and stuff, you can still like make the decks function as you wish.
Yeah, and with some vintage legal cards being allowed, like Bazaar of Baghdad and Time Twister, for example. There is some cards that would never see the light of day in Legacy.
Yep. But yeah, still they are still pretty much the same kind of archetypes than the other formats. Mono red is still some kind of a police in the format, keeping check the most greedy mana bases and stuff. Some kind of a combo decks still exist, even though, for example, Thassa's Oracle is banned in the format.
Yeah, and blue-red being especially popular with plenty of Blood Moon effects these days.
Yep. Yeah, blue-red tempo, as it's called, is probably one of the most played archetypes in the format, and most persistent as well.
That was an opt being cast there. You just, I guess, want to best play all the cantrips you can get in these types of decks. And it is gonna be a pass from Ronkainen.
So now he gets to Myllykoski gets to untap with Fiend Artisan, so we might face Nadu pretty fast here.
Yes, that is the case. Obviously, one thing Myllykoski did in the first game is save the Chord of Calling for the end step and then force the issue there and follow up with another play.
Yeah, he might actually do the same here, since the Chord of Calling is there.
But let's see what Myllykoski is gonna do. Looks like there is a Fiend Artisan being activated.
Yeah, and now you don't need to be afraid of the opposition agent once again, so of course there might be some other tricks coming out, but that would be one of the worst things you could face.
Yeah, there was a reanimate and a Force of Negation in Ronkainen's hand at the very least.
And we are about to see Fiend Artisan activated. Let's have a look what it actually does.
It does get a
Here we go.
creature for X plus 1, or I guess the cost is X plus 1 and then you get the X. And it was cast for or used for X equals 1. Let's see what the creature being searched for is.
Allosaurus Shepherd.
Yes, which does make all green spells uncounterable, being a very annoying threat for Myllykoski's side, but no counter spells today. Just follows up with Halfling and a pass off the turn.
Soon enough, Allosaurus Shepherd would actually be a threat on itself with this board, so
Yes, there is not that. There is 5 mana, so with a land drop, the activation could be a relevant thing. It's being a little unfortunate that you have to tap your creatures to activate it.
yeah. But since it only affects on elves, you still have Shepherd and Llanowar elves there, so
Yeah,
you're not too far from hitting 10 for a turn with only with these two.
it is gonna be survey and search for Ronkainen. See what kind of surveillance is happening. Not happy with that one. Choosing to go for a random card instead. With the reanimate in hand, it could have some explosive turns. Probably there isn't many big threats to reanimate, but even something like Pyrogoyf or something like that would be quite strong.
Yeah.
But
Some kind of a small mass removal would be a nice place to start from Ronkainen here, but
yes,
we haven't seen much more than the no, in this match we actually haven't seen even the toxic deluge and stuff.
Deluge won't be good, as we have a saying that deluge don't lose. But it is gonna be just a frog.
Well, this is a familiar fella.
Yes. If you watched the yesterday's stream, that card was being played quite a bit in the Legacy 4 copies, or 4 blue-black decks being in the top 8.
Yep. And here seems to be Court of Calling for 1, so what are we searching for here?
Could be an Nomad's Encore if I had to make my guess. Just setting up for the Fiend Artisan activation.
Yeah.
Searching for the bird itself. Let's see what. It could be something like Sylvan Safekeeper to protect the board as well. To generate some value. Let's see. If I had to place my bet, it would be on one of those two.
Ooh, Safekeeper it seems to be.
Yes. Now,
if I was Ronkainen, I would love to have that Toxic Deluge or Damnation or something very, very soon.
yeah, but with the Safekeeper coming down on the end step, we might not see another turn for Ronkainen if things line up well.
Yep. Myllykoski only have 1 card in hand, so I imagine that might be some kind of a tutor effect as well. Stoneforge Mystic seems to be there at least.
Stoneforge Mystic could search up the Shuko, but we are gonna see a Fiend Artisan activation, I believe.
Oh yeah, of course, there we have the tutor on the board already.
It is gonna.
Yeah, this might actually be a game right here and match as well.
I don't think it will be. It's the Safekeeper a little bit awkward to go off with, as you are limited by the number of lands you have in play, but it is certainly a strong one, as the bird can't really be killed by anything other than a wrath effect here. It's interesting if you even choose to draw here. Probably not, as the Deathrite Shaman was being activated. Yes, it's gonna be just a pass here.
Now, give me that damnation.
That won't be devastating one for sure. I think with Ronkainen taking the time, it is unlikely to have the perfect knot.
Yep. Frog goes to the red zone, trying to get some other cards to play with. Alright, we are actually increasing it a little bit. Mystic Sanctuary got pinned, didn't get the second card, which was discarded.
Sure which it was, but Frog gonna connect for 3 and there's...
Oh, there is a reanimate, so
Yes.
perhaps you might find something handy with it.
Frog or being a nice combination with that card. Having the discard outlet being in such an amazing card.
Yep.
But let's see. Ronkainen seems to be in quite some trouble.
Well, he has a puzzle to solve here. And it is a well-protected Nadu.
Yes, and with Stoneforge Mystic coming up, searching for Shukoids. I don't think Ronkainen likes the Sylvan Safekeeper here. Judging from the hands being waved here.
Yep.
Not much you can do about it.
And the choice has been made, and
It's a Murktide.
Murktide, yeah. I mean, it's a fatty, but it really doesn't help the situation here.
Yes. Dusk is the king of air, but the bird might not care about the combat in the air after all.
Yeah, and now when you once again get to untap with Fiend Artisan, you will now get the Nomad's Encore and Go Nuts.
Yes, that is probably gonna happen. But there is
You might actually also get the Nantuko from Fiend Artisan, and now get
Yes.
Shuko and just go more nuts.
But the problem with the Mystic is that the Shepherd does not prevent it,
yeah.
but with only Badlands being in the untapped.
Well, there is a blue
there
mana
is
as well.
Blue mana. See, interesting choice to. I don't know.
Evasive action.
Okay. That is a card that I don't actually know what it
It's a
Yes.
domain mana leak.
Okay, so that is gonna get countered here, but the Nomad's Encore will be the search for sure. The Fiend Artisan. There was a line for Ronkainen where he lets the Stoneforge Mystic resolve. Then the Shuko gets searched, and if the Shuko gets cast, then you can counter the Shuko, and there is no mana to get the Nomad's Encore anymore, which is a risky line, but it couldn't have paid off here, I think.
Yeah, now we only get to go for the value.
it is gonna be like the Linkin Park song, Encore, do you want more? Nadu gonna start some
Yeah,
drawing.
now we are making some room to the table because there will be some more stuff in there in just a short moment.
Yes. Popular way of doing the Nadu combo, having a pile for the cards that have been activated once and piles for twice and so on and so forth. Just allows the easy moving of the cards and tracking.
And so it seems that even though we said this might be a little favored for the control pile, the Nadu now shows that it can come around all the hate it faces.
Yes, and
I don't believe Ronkainen will come back from this swarm of value Myllykoski is producing, even though he now would find some kind of a sweeper effect.
yes, that is a lot of cards being drawn, and obviously the Caracas being one of them.
I mean, Ronkainen basically has lethal on the board, but I don't think he will get anything through. Alright, there is a final of devastation as well.
Yes, which could be cast for 2 to get the non-Tuco. But it is a very risky line, because if you fizzle from that spot, then you will face a lethal attack, possibly. So it is gonna be Teferi, which does get forced here. And now it is not that simple.
It is not actually, yeah, because there are now, as I said, there is basically lethal on the board for Ronkainen, and there are all of the Nadu activations used, right?
Yes. There is some one drop being played, Havar might.
Oh shit, this might actually this might actually go to the other way around.
But Nadu can block one of the attackers.
Yeah, and it's still very well protected, so
Yes, but
and with Nomad Encore you'll get to do all these things again on your opponent's turn, so and you will produce some land drops from those.
yes. But with the Nadu in graveyard, it is not easy to get it back.
Yeah. All right, perhaps this game is not totally over yet.
And using the Caracas for the Teferi was certainly a choice that did backfire, as there was an option to play the Nadu again to go off, or just save the Nadu and block with it with the Caracas bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
And now obviously the force of negation, which is something that maybe Myllykoski wasn't prepared for.
I mean, it really seemed to be pretty safe to play Teferi, but Ronkainen had other ideas for it.
And we will see what is gonna happen. There's no lethal threats here.
Discard for Frog, there goes the reanimate.
There is
flying.
There is a trick that Ronkainen going to have tried with if the Murktide were to go through, you going to have tried to make the lethal with the Frog activation exiling and making the Murktide bigger, but
if he has enough cards in hand, but Murktide now has, is it 5 counters?
yes, it's 8. It won't have been an attack for 8, and then the death right activation for the last two pieces of damage, but now it's gonna be difficult.
But there is only one card in Ronkainen's hand. He could discard it to Frog, which would put it to 4 counters, so hitting 5, but it's only 5 plus 2 from Deathrite Summon. It's 3 off from killing Myllykoski in combat. Because yeah, that's for sure that Marktide will not get through.
Yes, and I guess this is gonna be a lot of cards being drawn here. Not sure how many cards Myllykoski has, but roughly 17, I think.
Yeah, he was in 7 cards when he ended his turn, and now he has had 10 activations from Nadu.
Yes.
Or Nomad's Encore. Some lands have been put on the battlefield, yeah, but a couple more from Dryad Arbor.
And we will see what is gonna happen here. Obviously, Endurance was one of the cards being revealed, which makes the Nadu hitting the graveyard not so bad anymore.
Mm-hmm. There don't seem to be any targets from Haymire White, because there is virtually 2 more life for you if you get to activate it, but there doesn't seem to be any.
No, there is not. It's gonna be 2 fetches, which is interesting. There's gonna be some shotguns as well.
Oh, all right.
Going for risky territory at this point, I think.
Yeah, Myllykoski showing no fear of having a low life total.
Let's see what the play is gonna be here. Some spell obviously gonna be cast from Myllykoski's side before the attacks.
I mean, I don't like going so low on life total and relying on having another blocker. Because now Ronkainen have open mana and he could easily deal with Endurance.
But with the safekeeper...
Oh, but yeah, there is still Shepherd on the field, so it can be countered, and with the Safekeeper it can be removed. So yeah, perhaps it is pretty safe, to be honest.
Force of Despair being probably one of the only cards that punishes here. But it is gonna be just 2 jump blocks here. And we will see how the Nadu deck wins when the Nadu is hitting the graveyard.
Well, I mean, he still have the final in his hand. And a whole of mana to play with.
Does get it from the graveyard as well.
Yeah.
And 2 cards being drawn here. Ronkainen being really persistent, marking down all the cards that were drawn. Just something that I can really appreciate, as I would not have the mental fortitude to watch this anymore.
Yep. And let's have a quick count. So there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 lands plus Dryad Arbor, if I am counting correctly. So that will be a huge final there. And it will end the game.
Yeah.
Right now. And once again, it's also uncounterable, so
Yeah, and you can't really kill the shepherd.
yeah,
So
this should be a game and a match right here.
I don't believe there doesn't look like Myllykoski is going for the big finale.
No, that's something else.
If I had to make my guess, it's gonna be a finale for 3.
But why not just to launch and
Yeah, it is.
what is he really afraid?
It's gonna be just a shepherd activation.
But it's only for elves?
Yes, and there is not many elves here on the board.
I'm a bit confused.
Oh, I
Yes.
think there is a judge call.
Yep. Roope will go to solve it, and we will have a short moment and figure out what's going on there. And now Roope will be back, probably with the explanation.
So the question was of the creature type of the safekeeper, as it has been errated, but human safekeeper, obviously being named after Ungarade himself, it is a human and not an elf.
All right. But still, that doesn't answer the question for not just using the final.
Yes. And I don't know what is happening here.
Myllykoski just seems to have a complex of having too many options to do now.
Yes, and obviously realizing the mistake, it sometimes can be difficult to
Recover from
recover from it and get your thoughts together.
it. Yeah. Because yes, I mean, if you're not willing to win this turn or winning, you are still facing 2 lethal threats from the Ronkainen side. So it is really actually.
I mean, you can still final for the Nadu and go off with the Lotus Cobra. I don't really see why there won't be a problem here, but
Yeah.
I don't. Not sure. Maybe Myllykoski is missing the fact that the final does get from the graveyard. Oh, yeah. Is it gonna be a Zenith for 1?
What, Birds of Paradise to block?
There is the deck can go infinite with Scoot Swarm, but you need the Nadu here. Huh. Yeah.
Oh no, if Myllykoski somehow throws this away. It is bird.
Yeah, a little bit of a worse bird than the namesake card of the deck, unfortunately. But seems to be a really unfortunate sequence of things for Myllykoski.
Yeah, this really hasn't been great.
And
I mean, as Ronkainen has written down all the cards in Myllykoski's hand, I can only imagine that he has figured out that Myllykoski should just won with the final,
Yeah.
but
and this is why persistence sometimes pays off. Sometimes some people think that it's disrespectful to not concede in these spots when you have obviously
yeah,
lost.
you are right. Your opponent can always make huge mistakes.
Yes, and there is nothing wrong with making your opponent go through the motions.
Because, I mean, Myllykoski is obviously struggling to survive now.
Yeah, and this gonna be a Gitaxian probe.
Oh no.
And with only one area blocker, how is Myllykoski gonna survive? So gonna go to 4. And 4,
Eladamri's call. What?
but 4 is real, no, it's 5, I guess. Yeah, Eladamri's call for what is the question.
I'm really worried. worried now.
Yeah.
All right,
That's all good.
that's a way to do.
Okay, so Myllykoski should leave for another turn.
Yep. It gives him one more turn to find the obvious win from his hand.
Yes. I believe it. I mean, I think he has to miss the finance.
Yeah, I'm also thinking that he hasn't realized that it gives a whole lot of boost for your team when paid for 10 mana or X10.
But it is gonna be Solitude being cast for the pitch cost. Now it's just a frog, but timer is really hitting the Myllykoski's side as the Death Rat Shaman will.
Yeah, speaking about timer, so we are playing 60-minute rounds. We don't have the round timer here, but I would think it is already at least close to the time.
Yes, I believe that is gonna be the case. And we can check actually the pairings have been posted to get an estimate of it. Let's see.
And actually, yeah, now Shaman drops Myllykoski to 3, then Shaman drops Myllykoski to 1, then you are on the bold, I mean you're already on the bold range, so...
Yeah, it is gonna be, wait, there was no cards being discarded, or is...
To what?
To hand size.
For Myllykoski?
Yes.
It seems so. Yeah, I think I should go to say it to him.
Yeah. This hand size not being infinite here. But we will have a resolution of that shortly.
Then yeah, they just figured it out.
So it is Ronkainen pass being fetching right now. Nothing else really happened.
There also seems to be a huge audience around the table, so I hope Myllykoski hasn't taken any pressure from there.
Yes. How big was the audience? Are we talking of like
Not
10
not
people.
not tens of people,
Okay.
but several.
Yeah, obviously not. That probably being the only match left as we are in the extra turns.
Yeah.
We will see what happens.
So Ronkainen only goes for surveil. Is this his turn still?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there still any spells in the graveyard?
No, I don't think. Well,
Yeah.
in Myllykoski's graveyard there is, I think, some instants or sorceries.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's see if
I
we
mean-
find the win here.
yeah. And sure, he didn't discard the final. Yep, that's unusable. Very good.
Yes, good to recognize it as. And
Now, redeem yourself, Tuomas.
yes, let's see.
Mana from there. Yeah, good. Do not fetch, please. Another green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
This-
6,
this
7,
doesn't look-
8, 9, 10. How about? How about? Thank you. Thank you.
It's gonna be a Finang.
Oh my.
This match will go to Finang as well.
Oh dear, oh dear. I think Myllykoski might not want to have a word with us right now. We will
Yeah.
give him some time to.
He actually did
recover.
write "I'm sorry" on the paper as he won the match.
All right.
But it is
That
something
that was so funny to watch.
it is something that happens to even the best of us.
Yeah, and for all the viewers, that's why we love this format. There is always happening some crazy stuff
Yeah,
and
for
finding
sure.
for right lines.
But
Oh dear.
that was quite the match, and we won't have much of a breather here as
No.
there will be coming up another feature match
Yeah.
very shortly.
Yeah, so the time has already gone. I can imagine that was the last or one of the last games. So I think we will have a couple of minutes break to get another pair of players to the coverage, and we will be back as soon as possible.
Yes, see you soon.